Hey, well, good morning, everybody. Today's the 20th of May, 2019, of course, and one might say, well, so soon. I meant to make another video. Well, I've decided to discuss something that I have actually raised in the past, but which is really relevant, I think, and that is preferential voting is actually unconstitutional and therefore illegal. And after all the fuss that was made about section 44 of the Constitution, in which of course only Australian citizens could be in the Parliament, and they were, but anyone who was born overseas couldn't sit, which is fair enough. But we won't go into that one because that's been dealt with now. But sections 8 and 30 of the Australian Constitution make it quite clear that you can only vote once. Well, of course, both sides of politics actually argue, oh, well, you know, the voter goes into the polling booth and fills out the House of Reps voting form and the Senate voting form and puts them in the box and they've only voted once. Excuse me, but I went into our polling station on Saturday and had, by law, to fill out the House of Representatives, which was 8 candidates. I had to number 8 squares. I have then voted 8 times. In the Senate, the rules were by voting above the line you had to vote 6 times, which I did. You no longer vote once, you vote 6 times. I've got to point out, first of all, that Australia, under the Australian Constitution, 1901 to 1918, it was called the first past the post. It was a remarkable little bit of democracy. The person who got the most votes won the seat. You know, it's wonderful, isn't it? Now, in the seat of Blair, only last Saturday, the LNP candidate got more votes than the Labor candidate. Oh, you'd think, oh, good. LNP's going to win that seat. No, they won't. No, they didn't. Labor won it on preferences. They'd be rubbing their hands together. Shane Newman would be rubbing his hands together. I won the seat on preferences. It wouldn't matter where you got the preferences from, whether it was One Nation or whether it was UAP or whether it was the Greens or wherever you got the preferences. You don't care where you get them from. You just grab the preferences and win. Now, I would urge somebody to take this forward to a constitutional lawyer and bring it to the High Court, and you'll find that the High Court will find that we're only entitled to vote once. Now let me clarify that for people who just can't quite understand it. Look up the dictionary meaning of the word vote, and it has 2 meanings. One is says raise a hand, which does not apply in the election, of course. Another one is make a mark on a piece of paper. So a key word here is a. You make a mark, 1 or tick, on a piece of paper. So you get the 8 candidates come in and Blair, you say I want LNP, 1, finish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Wouldn't matter if it was a tick, wouldn't matter if it was circle the candidate's name. 1 vote. And as I said, the candidate, I can't even remember his name, would have won the seat. Now, I haven't researched this, but I assume this is the case in the seats like Indi and Victoria, where I'm guessing that the Liberal candidate would have got more votes than anybody else, but the candidate who got the preferences, which was an independent, got the seat. Now that's another seat that the LNP government could have had. Now, of course, I've got other friends who say, oh no, that's not fair, oh no, you've got to have the little parties, independents have got a bit of a go. Well, why do they have to have a bit of a go? See, Bob Catter is the best example I can give. He got 67% of the vote in the seat of Kennedy. There was no one who could touch him, and no one in the parliament could touch 67% of the vote. And he's an independent. He had a falling out years ago with the National Party, or I guess all those years ago it was called the Country Party. He would have had a falling out with them and been independent. So he got elected, and I'm saying even a Green or a One Nation or any party, any independent whatsoever who had a powerful public acceptance could win a seat in Parliament. There's nothing wrong whatsoever with that. But if the government wants to get rid of all the nonsense, it should go back to the one vote, one value. It's called first past the post. The person who gets the most votes gets the seat. So I'll more or less basically leave it at that, and we can have a bit of a discussion about that, and let's carry on our interest in what has happened with the election and beyond, and policies. And as I've always said, actually, anyone who has a civil and polite comment to make is very, very welcome. I won't accept abuse or threats, and I hope I don't get any, of course. And let's see what flows from this. So thank you for viewing.